Hi, my name's Larry, and activism is something that I gradually grew into. For most of my career, I was a software developer, but there was a period before that where I was a biochemist. So I was largely uninterested in social activism and political activism. But I remember when I was a child, I'm an old guy, so when I was a child, we used to have newsreels in the movies. And I remember there was one particular newsreel where it showed 5 Quakers standing outside the Pentagon protesting the military-industrial complex. And my first reaction was, oh, you can do that? And my second reaction was, oh, they seem like such nice people. I'd like to do things like that. So even as a child, I was interested. But as I said, most of my energy didn't go that way. And actually until I retired. When I retired, I didn't then had energy and time available to pursue these interests. And probably the most significant thing I did in that direction that kind of confirmed that, oh yeah, I'm interested in this stuff, is that I went to Charlotte, North Carolina in 2016 to campaign for the Democrats there, because I knew that if Trump was elected and I didn't do something like that, I would feel terrible afterwards. And that's a large part of my motivation is if I don't continue to be active and do what I can within reason, I mean, I don't want to wear myself out. My first priority is to take care of myself. But if I don't do what I can to push back on phenomena like Trump, then I'm going to feel horrible, and I'm going to feel alienated. I'm going to use numbness as a way of coping with it, and I'm going to get into. I probably will be depressed, and end up probably with agoraphobia or some other neurosis. And so I'm doing this largely for my own mental health, but I'm doing it without any expectations as to the outcome, because my goal is to just keep doing the next right thing. And one day it might be driving an undocumented immigrant to San Antonio to check in with ICE. The next day it might be canvassing for Julie Oliver in the 25th district. I'm in Congressional District 25 in Texas. So every day there's a new leading as to what I should be doing. Now I also have strategies. Like my strategy for the next election is to knock on 2,020 doors. In the last election in 2018, I knocked on 1,727 doors. So I think I can do it by just a little more energy. And the thing is, it's not drudgery. You know, I'm doing this for my mental health and my spiritual health, but it's not drudgery. I get to meet all sorts of really interesting people when I knock on doors or when I come to things like LAP, where I am now. Not only interesting, but vital people who are filled with joy. I have experienced so much enthusiasm when I just a couple of weeks ago I knocked on some doors for Julie, and people were so enthusiastic about the coming election, and that was so gratifying to be able to facilitate their enthusiasm. I also am an advocate. I'm part of the local advocacy group for the Friends Committee on National Legislation. And they taught me how to lobby congresspeople. And the 3 big things you need to do when lobbying a congressperson is to tell a personal story, appeal to common values, and give them choices. If you can do that, you're very likely to have them be persuaded, if they're persuadable. And I don't recommend that you lobby people who are not persuadable. It's the persuadables that I recommend that you lobby. And then you can also, people who are like-minded already, you can encourage them. But that's a different kind of lobbying. So I've gone to Washington 2 years in succession in November, and I'll be going again this November to lobby the congresspeople from Texas. And they are more or less persuadable. Their staff, for one thing, seems to be more persuadable than the congresspeople themselves. So that's gratifying. And I've developed a relationship with people who I used to, because I hadn't met them, I thought they had horns, that they were devils, But now I realize, hey, they're really nice people who work for, well, except for Ted Cruz's staff. But Cornyn staff and Williams, he's my congressman now, but maybe not after next year. His staff, they're very nice people, and I have enjoyed getting to know them and forming relationships with them. And I think it will come in handy, this bond that I have formed with one of the staff members with Williams' office when I go this coming November, because we have a really trivial ask this time. It's just a pittance, and we're going to ask them to rescind the authorization for use of military force in Iraq. Well, why not? And so I think we may make some progress. I did have one success with his office earlier, about 2 years ago, when we were trying to get the bill to audit the Pentagon passed. I went to the local office, and there was just one young guy there, and I don't think he heard us. So we decided we would go to talk to the military liaison in Cleburne. Now, that is a long drive, but it also it allowed me to know more about the district, going through all those small towns that are dying, and the people there must be suffering quite a bit. They hadn't heard of the Pentagon bill, but I told them about it, and I used those 3 principles of lobbying. And 2 weeks later, when I called, they said, well, the congressman hadn't heard about this bill, but he's going to vote for it. So I had that one success. So you never know what effect you can have if you do something small like driving to Cleburne.